What's up, everybody? Real estate investing made easy, but today you can call us PPC made easy because we're going to talk about why the heck you should care about PPC. And I'm joined with my friend Daniel Holdeman, who owns OxBird. They're a white label PPC company. You're not going to want to miss this because really he is making PPC easy. With the field of marketing wide open, you could hang from bandit signs or a sign event on a car or a business card left at a pizza shop like that. There's many types of marketing out there. So someone might be asking a question, because I have asked this myself, why should I, as a business owner, care about PPC?
Well, there's a number of reasons. First and foremost is the sheer volume that you have access to. You know, if you look at Alphabet, which is the parent company for Google, and you look at Facebook, I mean, they each have 200 million users. That's a lot of people, and it would be a shame to not have access to them, which you wouldn't if you weren't tapping into PPC.
Obviously, people are using Google, so there's a big audience there, because how many people use Google? I do, right? To search anything and everything. I used to, back in the day, use Ask Jeeves. You remember that? Or Dogpile. I don't know why. It's just, I guess I thought I was cool.
Well, you know, I think you're cool.
Thanks, I appreciate that. But I don't really use those anymore. So
I don't think you're alone.
No, probably not. But I know that there are some people who use some services to search other than Google.
Typically, when we're thinking PPC, Google Ads is usually what comes to most people's mind. Microsoft, which would essentially be your Bing and Yahoo. We want to definitely touch on that at some point. I talked about volume, and I mentioned, you know, the amount of users that are visiting Google and visiting Facebook, and that if you want to access that traffic, then that's where PPC comes in. I want to just clarify that, well, you can access that traffic through SEO as well, right? So it's not like PPC is the sole means. But that brings me to kind of a second reason why you should care about PPC is intent. So you think about the difference between organic visitors and paid visitors. You know, if you're doing research and you're learning about a solution or a process and you click on an organic result, typically what you're looking for is an education, right? You want more information. People who click on websites that are the result of PPC, they usually are looking for a call to action, and in many cases, even a handshake. So I would say, you know, intent is really another important factor for why PPC is important.
Buyer intent keywords, is that what you would call?
Yeah, just the actual intent behind the search itself, correct? Which in the case of Google would be keyword based.
So an example of a buyer intent keyword would be, off the top of your head,
plumbing repair. Someone's entering in plumbing, well, they're going to get all sorts of options, and they could be doing a report for their class,
right?
You know, as someone doing plumbing repair, or even more so plumbing repair company, that's a pretty shoe-in, you know,
right?
In terms of that they've got an issue, they need it resolved. So we've talked about volume, talked about intent.
Mm-hmm.
A third thing that's a really big plus when you're spending money on any type of marketing is control. Billboards are great, they have their purpose, but you fork out cash for a billboard and 1,000 people drive past it, you know, on a Monday. How many of those people looked at the billboard?
Hopefully they were looking at the road for the most part.
Hopefully, yeah, for the sake of public safety.
Yes.
And out of those people who looked at the billboard, how many of those people, when they got to their office, went and actually pulled up the website? Hopefully for the sake of the employer, not too many. But you get the idea. So really what you're controlling there is location. And that's about it. So whereas with PPC, I mean, you control everything. You control what time of day your ads are going to show. You can get as specific as what zip codes you want to display it in, device types. I mean, you just have a lot more at your fingertips in terms of being able to have a say-so in where your marketing dollars are going. The fourth reason why people should care about PPC, and it's the measurability. We talked about the level of control that you have as an advertiser. Well, that translates to data points, right? So, I mean, you name it. If you want to know, you know, a male, female, age range, income level, device type, time of day, down to the hour. All of those are data segments. And as you begin to populate that data, and then over time you start to see trends, mind you, a relatively, minimal amount of time compared to other options out there, that's where you get to have some fun. And you start to, apply that data against your marketing dollars to make them more efficient and to get a better return on that investment. So your cost per lead, maybe $100 month one, right? But, by the time you're 3 or 4 months in, that cost per lead is markedly reduced because you know how to spend that money the most effectively to get the best return. And that type of visibility, that measurability is really hard to find anywhere else at that granular level. So we talked about volume, we talked about intent, we talked about control and measurability. Another thing that I want to highlight is scalability. One of the beauties of, paid media is that once you've got your campaign optimized and you're kind of high-fiving your business partner or your wife or wife, you're looking at the cost per lead and you're making money and everything's going as it should. Well, you just pour more money into the system. Now, assuming that the volume's there now, hey, maybe we're maxed out on Google. We've got to kind of pivot over to Microsoft or Bing, Microsoft, which AKA Bing Yahoo, to kind of get access to more volume. But the idea is you nail it and then scale it. And, usually with a lot of other venues for marketing, it's not always as simple as just dumping more money in. But a lot of times PPC can work out that way. So scalability, I think, is an important factor too.
Nail it and scale it.
And that really, that actually comes up a lot when people are saying, hey, how much money should I be spending on my paid ads? And say, hey, let's just make sure you've got enough money going into your campaign to make it statistically relevant. So in other words, let's just make sure you've got at least the minimum amount of data coming in every month so that it's meaningful. It's worth your time, my time. But no need to spend more than that initially. Let's nail it first and then we'll scale it.
Right.
So then we can start dumping more money into it.
I know you mentioned the go-to-market. So the go-to-market time it's rapid, right? It's like a response that you can get pretty much right away. And that's just as any business owner, or is it different from business to business? And in fact, are any of these greatly change any of these reasons why you should care from one business to another? Have you seen that?
So go to market, I would put that as number 6. Let's just roll with it, right? We've got 5, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
When you think of pay-per-click, we're really talking about there's an immediacy that can be provided. Generally, the go-to-market for pay-per-click campaign is about 2 weeks. Now, granted, if you're new to it and you're still learning and half your time you're doing your online course on, what is PPC and how to manage a Google Ads account, well, it's probably going to take you a month.
Right.
But let's just say you're working with someone who does this regularly and, on the 5th of the month, you reach out and say, hey, I'm ready to pull the trigger. Well, on the 19th, you're live. And now that's a generalization, but as to what could slow that process down or speed it up, it really just comes down to cooperation of the advertiser, just kind of providing access to, Google Analytics, or maybe there's certain media, maybe there's videos or images that we're waiting on. So it's really just the communication and kind of the cooperation.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video all about PPC. To see the next one, click right here where you can guarantee Daniel and I are going to make it easy.